Hi guys, we have an amazing new moon happening on the 1st of September. This one is really complex and it's powerful, so I want to give you a little bit of information about it. It happens at 9:04 in the morning, and that's based on Greenwich Mean Time on the 1st of September. And the new moon is always when the moon goes black. It moves next to the sun, it recharges its energy, and it's very inward looking. So it kind of sets the intentions and the theme for the next monthly cycle, and this is the nature of the moon. This is what the moon is going to concern itself with. So with this new moon being in Virgo, what the moon's energy are focused on are planting seeds of intention, especially when it comes to making sense of your life, making it more effective, making it work more harmoniously, and cutting things that do not work and getting rid of things that are problematic. If you think, a good way of thinking about Virgo is just thinking about what time of year Virgo happens. So astrology is based on the seasons. September is the last month of summer. It's when the harvest is ready and it's being brought in. And Virgo then sits there and looks at the harvest and says, this is good, this is what we can put in the storage units for winter. This is bad, this is what we're going to have to get rid of. Okay, so that's what Virgo does. It's practical. It makes clear yes or no decisions. It's very black and white. Things aren't overly complicated, and either it is or it isn't. Okay, so that's the sign this new moon is in. And what the moon then concerns itself with, what it applies this no-nonsense kind of attitude to, is your working life and your daily routine and your physical health. So what you put in your body, your weight, your exercise routine, all of those things that are really practical and grounded and down to earth, that's what this new moon is going to look at. And it's very helpful to work with the moon's energy and to just make a list maybe on the 1st of September and say, okay, the moon is kind of focusing on these themes of life in the month of September. How can I make the most of it, and how can I use the moon's energy to make those sectors of my personal life better? So if there is anything you want to change about your health or the way you work or the diet that you have, look at those, and as the month progresses, you'll be able to make changes much more easily than you usually would be able to make them. Now, during this new moon, we've also got two other things which are going to complicate this energy a little bit. First of which is Mercury in retrograde in Virgo as well, and then is the solar eclipse. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication. It rules information coming in and being put out. And when that goes in retrograde, you have to find new ways of getting your point across. Because Mercury rules Virgo, it's particularly strong, and you're going to have to find different ways of communicating. So the new moon is in Virgo, Mercury in retrograde is in Virgo. All of these are particularly going to be looked at, and this Mercury retrograde in itself is saying reevaluate what you're doing with your working life and with your health. So it's the same thing pretty much that the new moon is concerned with, about focusing on your work and your health and what can you alter. So this is a really it's a double whammy in more senses than one, because both of these energies are now urging you to take stock, to take inventory, and to make any changes that need to be made. Now, the solar eclipse happens as well. A solar eclipse, the moon is blocking out the sun, and it's kind of an interruption, okay? The energy which is being showered on us via the sun is interrupted, it's cut off, and what takes its place is the new moon energy. So not only do we have a double whammy now, we've got a triple whammy. Eclipses in mundane astrology have to do with changes either to the people in charge, to the leaders, or to the masses, to the people. And because this eclipse happens on the North Node, it has to do with leaders, it has to do with people in charge, and because it's on the North Node, it pulls energy in, okay? So the good thing about this is that we can kind of expect that the people who are in charge will be given more of this Virgo energy. It'll be easier for them to create order and to make sense of things. And that would be great for all of us, you know, if the leaders are able to bring more prosperity and security and structure into either the government or the country that we live in. That's obviously good, okay? But you are the leader of your life. You're the person in charge of what goes on with you on a day-to-day basis, so you can also benefit from this. Take this Virgo energy, which is going to be coming in from there and here and there and everywhere this month, because it is so powerful, and really look at how can I make sense of my health and my work. So if you've been struggling with your diet for years, you know, this is really the time to look at it. If you've been trying to get back to the gym for years, now this new moon is the time to set the intentions and to say, I want to get my body back in order, I want to get it in shape. If the working side of situation, and it's not just the job itself, it's the details surrounding your work, the commute, the day-to-day experience, what you do hour by hour, it's a really good time to make that more effective. And if you're sitting at work every day and spending 2 hours on emails, let's say, and you work as an artist, then how can you make that more effective so that you can bring down the email time to like an hour or something like that? That would make Virgo very happy if you made your day more effective. Okay, so those are the things influencing the new moon. I've also drawn out the chart here for how this looks, and the new moon forms certain energies. It forms certain aspects with other energies which add depth and meaning to this. Okay, so first of all, the sun and the moon are at 9 degrees. 9 is the number of completion and spirituality. Okay, so there will be a sense of, you know, on a spiritual level, I feel very much aligned with Virgo, and how can I complete things, and how can I structure them so that this is like almost the end of a cycle. So how can I make things more effective and let them stay effective? It's kind of like an end point. There's also an ease about that, and a spiritual kind of message coming through saying, do this. It's really easy. You'll find it natural to put this in place. Now, Virgo and Pisces are on the same axis, okay? They're 180 degrees apart, and anything to do with Virgo or Pisces, both of those have spiritual meanings anyway, because Pisces is very, very spiritual. It's very much focused on the unmanifest, but Virgo in a way is also spiritual because it is interested in perfecting or adding good things to your physical life. So it's almost like a spiritual person applying spiritual principles to the day-to-day existence, okay? And that's what this 9 number is about, looking at what is really true and good for your life that's going to serve you and help you and make you healthier. That's what this new moon is all about, making you healthier, more effective, less conflicted, less unhappy. So that in itself is a spiritual thing. You know, someone who is focused on healing the body is using kind of spiritual principles. The other thing is that the new moon opposes Neptune, the South Node, and Chiron in Pisces in the 5th house. Okay, so the other thing that we can look at now is what is it that you want to achieve in your romantic personal life? What can you order that? Can you bring more effectiveness and more structure and more of a routine into that side of your life? And put that on your to-do list. So don't just look at the body and work. Also look at romance. Do you want to be with someone? Do you want your relationship to be better? This Virgo new moon energy extends to that aspect of life, and you can really improve those kind of circumstances. Now, that opposition forms a T-square with Saturn and Mars, and it creates a big triangle, which is an area of friction and motivation, okay? So the decisions that you make now, these are really effective and critical and positive, and they will be in place for a long time, and they will be responsible for what your path looks like in future. Yes, it's a new moon, it affects you for a month, but the eclipse is also in place here. And eclipses are in effect 6 months after they happen. Okay, so one, trust your judgment, it's good, but also realize that the decisions you make now are going to be in effect for approximately the next 6 months. There's a sesqui square to Uranus in Aries in the 7th, so making sense of it, this again is to do with relationships. Making sense of where you're at and what you want will then naturally allow you to take action to bring more good stuff into your life. It forms a trine with Pluto in Capricorn in your third, so understanding here is key, because then you can put in practical action to transform what your day looks like on a day-to-day basis. You identify, you understand, you communicate with yourself, and you take action to make things better. There's a sextile to Black Moon Lilith at 11 degrees in Scorpio, and really the deepest, darkest, most hidden desires that you have can come to the surface and can be worked on. If you've been ashamed of your sexuality or ashamed of the way you look, and it's the shame that has kept you from making changes, then you can face that shame this month and actually say, okay, I'm ashamed of this, but I'm going to make a start somewhere. I have to start somewhere. And that is powerful, because shame can keep us trapped for decades. And that's it. So that is this new moon energy. It's really anyone who has Virgo in their chart, or anyone who has Pisces in their chart, you're really going to love this time. It's going to feel very natural, and because of these extra influences via the Mercury Retrograde and the solar eclipse, you're going to have Virgo energy coming out of your ears. It's going to be unbelievable. So Virgo, Pisces people expect to feel very comfortable and to be able to make a lot of changes and tweaks to your life, which will feel very satisfying and very good. I hope you have a wonderful month ahead. If you would like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you can order your reading with me there. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. I do daily tarot readings here on the channel. I do monthly horoscopes for each sign of the zodiac, and I do live readings on Facebook. It's facebook.com/GregoryScott444. Have a great month, and I'll speak to you soon.